Okay, we're live now on this thing. So I didn't do very well there, but this is good because see the laptop, it's not the computer, so it'll work.
So we are live.
I presume.
Theoretically.
I'm gonna have to go on the other one and just tell them that I screwed it up. So nobody's here.
Nobody.
There, Weed Tea is here.
Oh, okay.
That's
cool.
fine.
So we are live.
So you talk to them and I'll send everybody else over from this other thing.
All right, everybody. We are, as you can see, once again, having all kinds of fun over here. It's so nerve-wracking for us to try and figure out this software. I don't know why, but we keep changing different software programs and everybody suggests, such great programs. And then you have 5 of them and then they don't link up. And it's really kind of sad for you guys on your end. But anyway, we're going to deal with it.
We're here.
We are lucky.
I don't see another thing. I can't tell everybody else about the other thing.
We are lucky and fortunate enough to have Elizabeth, my wonderful, beautiful, and talented wife, to come along. And what hit me a month or 2 ago was she was just starting to get into learning the case because she has a full-time practice. So we're really blessed to even have her help us out with this, to take time out of her practice to help us understand what's going on. But the beautiful part of that is she comes along in a situation of, she has new, fresh take. She has a new look. She has an honest attorney view of where we all stand. Because you and I love Jeremy Hogan, and I love John Deaton, and I love everybody that's followed worked so tirelessly for 2 years. But the case is sort of bogged down, and not bogged down. It just hasn't come to fruition yet. Well, in that sense, I think it's really good to have fresh eyes and all of us just start from, okay, where are we? How did we get here in a recap? And how do we get to where we need to be? And that's where she comes along with this new vision that we all have of learning through her eyes, which is basically the way we all learned it a while back. So I said all that to say this. If she says something that sounds like I know more than she does, or I understand the case better than she does, that may be a case for a while, but for instance, for a while, but that is not going to be. Elizabeth is a deep dive type attorney. She's not a litigator necessarily. She's the person who does all the work in the background. And I've heard many attorneys tell me that she's like robo attorney. She likes to deep dive, dig into the pile and find the little nitty gritty and the little bits and pieces that a lot of people don't, or they understand in the legal field, but they don't know how to express it to us. So the beauty of Elizabeth and I is I think I can explain things in a story type format of what she's saying, because I've been married to her for almost 18 years, or we've been together 18 years. And she's a wealth of, I'm just so excited. I guess hopefully you can see that in my presentation here. I'm excited because she's now taking a passionate look at what you and I know is the rest of our lives and how important this is to our lives. So having more information and a deep dive about this legal predicament that we find ourselves in is nothing but a shot in the arm as far as energy to us who are kind of we're wilting here a little bit because it's dragging on. And this content's going to be very dry. It's not going to be for everybody. She does not sensationalize things. One of the beautiful things that you'll understand about Elizabeth and I's relationship and marriage is it's based on total trust. I have her back and she has my back. And that doesn't mean I will defend her if she's wrong or if I don't believe in her opinions. It doesn't mean that. What it means is she doesn't lie to me and I don't lie to her. And that's the one beautiful thing that this marriage and this relationship has been built upon. So she's not going to sugarcoat it on you guys. She's going to let you know what she really believes is happening in the case. And she's going to follow through with not just Ripple, not just Coinbase. She's looking into all of them. Okay. She's looking at Adriaens involved now. So she's going to be our go-to person in our little community, to where you're going to be able to ask questions in the live chat. If we ever master the live chat, which at this point
It's looking pretty good, actually.
is kind of crazy that it's even working.
And we've got the chat on the side.
And we will fix the optics and the rest of it, and the sound. But hopefully the sound is good. Are you guys, can you hear us good and clear? Otherwise, I've been talking to nobody here.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so
we don't know.
With that, I'm going to again introduce my.
Oh, sorry. Sound is loud. Okay.
Sound is loud. Oh, well, I can turn that down.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
We'll just move that. Okay.
Sound is loud.
I do want to hit the print button.
Okay.
Everybody, sorry, we were trying to get the Zoom coordinated with YouTube, and
okay, it's fine. Yeah,
screwed up.
Good. Thanks.
So I just wanted to let you know that when I hit the print button, sometimes the solar blows up. So if it does, I think we're okay because I have everything on backup battery. But cross your fingers.
We'll be right back.
I'll be right here. It's just going to make a. You see that? The light flicker. That's how it is.
We are off grid. So
it's off grid. It's a little dicey.
Yeah. But I mean, we're off grid with like 3 refrigerators, 2 freezers. You know, we run a lot of electricity.
I wanted to, just before I made some notes to answer some questions, a little bit of my insight into what I thought was happening. Remember the last comment I made somewhere at the pool or whatever? I'm like, oh, there it goes. Oop. Is everybody still
we'll
here?
We'll be right back.
I think we're still live. Can someone just tune in? Okay. Is anybody? Yeah, I just killed my power with my printer. Okay. I have a USB. So just wanted to let you guys know that I knew that was going to happen. Okay. I just wanted to let everybody know that the last time I think I said something like, oh, we're back. What is the deal with SEC? You know, because I was new, like you said, what's the deal? What is their problem? You know, like go away. And so I kept thinking about that. I kept thinking about that as I was digging into these documents. And I'll just show you like the pile of documents I printed trying to get up to speed on this stuff. Like Coinbase just came out, a flurry of activity. Bittrex just came down with a bunch of currencies. So I'm not even going to go there, but I just thought about that. What's the deal? You know, what's the deal? And so in our Zoom post, I had the title, which we lost because we lost the whole Zoom live stream thing. But I had the title, Crypto Shakedown, XRP Shakedown, ? Or racketeering. I don't know why. I just thought of racketeering. And then I went and looked up racketeering definition and I thought, that sounds interesting. And then when I was reading the stack of documents, and I'm calling this like the tea leaves, you know, I've got the tea leaves. I'm going to tell you the tea leaves. And then I want us all, because Alan's always saying this is a community. It's like, let me give you the dry facts, the stuff that I see on YouTube channels kind of glossing over a little bit sometimes, and they want to get straight to the punchline, like the sensational, we're going to win or we're going to lose, you know, RICO, racketeering. I mean, it's all over the place. So I just thought I wanted to back up my sensational shakedown thing. Okay. And this is what I came up with. So recently an entity called Empower Oversight Whistleblowers and Research, you may have heard of that, filed on May 10th a second lawsuit against the SEC to compel compliance with a FOIA request. A FOIA, as everybody should know or does know, probably asking for the goods, right? So what do you got? And what were they looking for? They asked the SEC to produce, because it's a governmental entity, to produce records concerning potential conflicts of interest by former high-level officials at the SEC relating to cryptocurrencies. Okay, well, keep going. Very succinct little complaint, like maybe 10 pages max, but this was juicy. Empower Oversight argued the requested records would shine light on whether former SEC officials had conflicts of interest when declaring whether certain cryptocurrencies constitute securities, subjecting them to SEC regulations. Empower, the complainant, relied on the fact in their pleadings, okay, that former Simpson Thatcher, maybe the person from UK,
Margaret Thatcher.
it's not Thatcher because it's not, but
No.
Thacker, we'll just call it Thacker, partner William Hinman, remember him? Worked as the director of the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance from 2017 to 2020. And you all know that, the December 2020 big reveal. But this is very particular. So that Empower alleged on May 10th, 2023, that Hinman continued to receive millions of dollars from Simpson Thacker, a law firm, while working at the SEC. This is Empower's allegations to this court in Washington or Virginia. I'm sorry. I'll get that figured out. I'm getting some things mixed up. While Hinman was working at the SEC, Simpson Thacker was a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, an industry aiming to, quote, drive the use of enterprise Ethereum. Hinman declared the Ethereum cryptocurrency, Ether, was not a security. Hinman rejoined Simpson Thacker in late 2020, ergo December of 2020. That same month, and you all know this, but I'm going to my Shakedown Racketeering. I'm trying to back my opinion up on that.
Right.
That same month, the SEC filed a lawsuit against one of Ethereum's rivals. That's Empower's language. Ethereum's rivals, Ripple, and the other two heads, alleging that XRP was a security. This was very interesting. And the reason why I brought this up, and maybe it's repetitive, but I'm trying to link some things together. And that is for my expert witness review. Remember last time, we're going to get to some of this. They said that, XRP was manipulating the price here and there with all this news and everything. Well, hello. It says that the value of XRP fell 25% immediately after the SEC's announcement. So remember that evidence. Oh, really? Who's manipulating the price? Okay. Interestingly, former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton publicly stated while at the SEC that Bitcoin was not a security. Oh, very convenient for him, right? Thereafter, the value of Bitcoin significantly rose. So the pot calling the kettle black type of thing, the SEC saying, oh, XRP, you're manipulating the price with your public announcements. Well, that's what's happening here. Shortly after leaving SEC, then Clayton goes back to One River Asset Management, a cryptocurrency hedge fund that focuses exclusively on Bitcoin and Ether and something fishy. And when I use the term something's fishy, I am referring to, I'll just give you a little backstory on that, is I litigated this murder case with a friend of mine, and there was a witness. Her name was, well, it doesn't really matter.
Northern Living.
I can't remember, but she was, we think, a co-participant in the murder. but the government was doing, prosecutors, but the government, and these SECs are acting like a prosecutor, was doing all kinds of funky stuff, getting all kinds of witnesses to lie, coming in and being friends with her and bringing her burgers and doing all kinds of goofy stuff, coming to talk to her in the jail when she's represented. And she made this note, and it made me think of this, and she wrote it in kind of gang code or whatever. Something fishy is what she said. And she wasn't a stupid girl. Okay. She was a gang member, but she was not stupid about the government. And I just think that that's what came to mind. Something fishy, like Shakedown, right? So that was Empower filing on May 20th. And then when I read this Coinbase thing that got filed about 2 weeks ago.
So let me bump in real quick.
Go ahead.
You're kind of catching up to where everybody in this group pretty much already is. Okay. We know inside the fishiness of Hinman and what was going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum. They got a free ride, basically. They got a pass.
I got more than that.
Right. So why didn't we get the free pass? Or why didn't we even get offered the free pass? No, we got thrown into litigation. So in a nutshell, what you've uncovered, which we kind of already knew, was what occurred. What you have there is documentation of him on the take, if you will.
On the take.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
I don't know if it's on the take. It's like a racketeering because they're trying to squeeze out XRP because they've got all this interest in Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Right.
And it was like, oh, hello. But then I linked this. This was just filed. Then I linked this Empower Oversight Whistleblowers with the Coinbase petition, which came out 2 weeks ago, the petition for writ of mandate, saying, can we please get some guidance here? Which I think is kind of fishy as well, because they want all this regulation for something that everybody's saying, let's go decentralize. But anyway, I'm behind on that. But the Coinbase petition for writ of mandate filed a couple of weeks ago, argued, I'm not going to go into that right now. It's kind of boring, but they want the court to say the SEC is supposed to answer on Monday to this, and whether they do or not, we'll see. But in the end of their petition, Coinbase, and I want you to think about this anew from combining it with Empower, what I just read you, what Empower just filed, and that is, quote, and everything I'm saying other than what I say is from my heart only, is from some document. So it's in demanding compliance with incompatible registration requirements while refusing to undertake and appearing to forswear rulemaking or even to discuss alternative registration paths with the industry. The SEC's aim, it appears, is not to bring crypto firms into compliance, but to run the industry into the ground. And
some of them.
So if you combine that with, like I said, Empowers was saying that something's fishy, right? There's a conflict of interest here, big time. And that just led me to the shakedown. If anybody understands a shakedown as well, is like you can't win, because like if you walk into my store or something and I'm missing one handle for somebody that needs it for a wheelchair, you just bring a lawsuit, boom, I'm done. And I have to fork over huge penalties for something. And they set you up, like they set you up. They put they have someone walk in there as their soon to be plaintiff, a couple of 5 people, and then they file this lawsuit, and then they collect all kinds of attorney fees because they're missing one handle. And so that's what that is.
That I like, is that Roland? CBCD?
CNBC.
Yeah. Gives Jay Clayton time to spew nonsense. It just does. That's all it does. Is the whole thing's a big smoke screen. We all kind of know that. It's amazing to me how we all need to live our lives in that clown world that seems to run DC and the whole mess. If you've been around my show long enough, you probably guys already know my opinion on all that, without getting bumped off YouTube. It's very interesting to me when you have an attorney like John and Jeremy and everybody else and Elizabeth who tell us these are the facts of what they're saying. And these facts, even in court, don't make sense. You're like, after a while, you're like, well, wait a minute. Who's running the show? Who's on the take? And is it racketeering? What is this? What? And when you come to the realization as you become a grown adult and you understand that, yeah, they never really were on our side. And it's frustrating. And I understand it, but you can't like always hate on that as well. You know what I mean? Because it'll eat you up. So you and I, now I'm really spreading hopium here this morning. You and I are going to succeed in the end because this level of, I'm going to call it corruption or whatever you want to call it. Okay. At this point, okay, it is pretty much isolated to the US and it's absurdity.
Well, now Canada's going down in flames too because Binance just bailed.
Right. But and what we know is the internet and crypto is global. So they're going to have to come back to us. And the reason why I say that is twofold. But the big thing that really clicked with me was these people are suppressing technology. Okay. And the technology makes lives better. And other people around the world are using this technology to save their citizens money, time, and effort. And when that becomes obvious to even American citizens, they have no choice but to come back to the technology that you and I possess, and we know it ultimately will succeed because it's a better kit. It's better gear. It's just better for everybody's day-to-day basis. So when we can hear people tell us that what we've been feeling with fresh eyes, Elizabeth's only been looking into this case for a few weeks, right? And she's already finding, wait a minute, this Henman guy, he's on the take. Like he's clearly in the bag or the possession of Ethereum, right? I mean, that's pretty damn obvious. That's been obvious to all of us for a long time. But she doesn't have those opinions. She doesn't go, although she's an owner of XRP.
I don't own any of it.
Well, I do. But she's always had a vested interest in that outcome. But I have to tell you something about my wife. She's very, very on top of the table and very critical of what she reads. And she doesn't like to sensationalize. However, the last 10 minutes, pretty clearly
I got the receipts.
Yeah. Pretty clearly she's on our side in this
I'll go
situation.
with receipts.
So anyway, enough with my sales
Oh,
pitch.
and for the racketeering, just to back myself up on my opinion about racketeering, the definition is a type of organized crime in which the person set up a coercive, fraudulent, extortionary, or otherwise illegal coordinated scheme or operation, the racket, to repeatedly or consistently collect a profit. So I thought that was very interesting. The other thing I did a couple things. I don't know how far into it you want to go today, but like I said, I wanted to, here's the tea leaves. Let's all figure it out together because everyone's asking questions like, when is this going to settle? When is this going to trial? When is the judge going to rule? Blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, well, I looked at the civil case management plan and scheduling order. The interesting thing is, another thing I'd said is, this going to a jury trial? Did they elect a jury trial? What the heck happened? So in that order, yes, a 2-week jury trial was requested. And that was something the parties said was their estimate. Lawyers tend to be a little long-winded. So maybe 2 to 4 weeks, but you can't say it's a 2-week trial and then go for 2 months. Judges get really pissy about that because you have juries there, and they elected jury trial. And then it was interesting, section 9 of that order, because everyone's like, settlement, they were talking settlement and all this stuff. Well, they did talk settlement. They were required to meet for at least 1 hour, 1 whole hour, to discuss settlement within 14 days following the close of discovery. And that it did say that might have happened, or previous to the case management plan to discuss that. So I don't know what happened with that, but anyway, I noticed that. And then the timing of the jury trial. The interesting thing is if the judge denies summary judgment to both parties, that's it. It's not an appealable order. So all this discussion about appeals is interesting to me because that's not what I read in the rules. If she denies both motions, it goes to trial. If she denies she does like a partial summary judgment, meaning she says, yeah, this issue isn't in dispute and this issue isn't in dispute, but the rest is disputed. Those are not appealable orders either. And so, and then when would this go to trial? So once motion for summary judgment is denied, either in total or partially, then the parties would come in and say, we want to go to trial now. All the discovery I can see is done. They did all the depositions, I think, is what I could figure out. So the parties come in and say, we want to trial this case. And then the court has to say, okay, I can squeeze it in here. I can squeeze it in there. The next available courtroom is here. But she's got to prioritize her scheduling with cases that have higher priority. So if she has some kind of other case that has higher priority, for instance, the rules talk about criminal proceedings. I don't know if she's assigned any criminal cases. Habeas corpus. Sometimes a lot of courts participate in habeas corpus issues because those need to be decided very swiftly. Injunctive relief and some other things that take precedence. Grand jury witnesses that are being recalcitrant, I think is what they talk about. So she has to schedule all of that. And so it's the court shall grant summary judgment if the movement, either of the two movements, show there is no genuine dispute as to any material fact. Okay. And you're entitled as a matter of law. And that's why I had been going through the expert witnesses, because that was kind of showing me that there is material dispute as to material facts as between each witness. Like the SEC's witness says one thing, the defendant's witness says another, expert witness. That's an issue of material fact. And Judge Torres keeps ordering those things. And I thought the expert witness stuff was, like I said, I want to give you the facts, the deeper dive into the stuff rather than just some opinion that I don't show you the receipts on where I'm getting these statements, so I'm not making predictions, but and the other thing
I wanted to comment real quick on something a couple of people posted here. XRP slave, yeah, it's really frustrating because you explain to people, the technology and what you understand, and you can see where it's all coming, and they just look at you with that blank stare. But something came to me the other day when I was in Vegas, and I was talking to a guy, and we were standing out in front of the elevator, and he was having a cigarette, and he was doing a presentation from a company that is not affiliated with any one coin, but he was sort of there. Yeah, I don't believe he owned XRP, and he sort of said to me, he goes, I don't get the hype about XRP. I don't really, I own Bitcoin, and he owned a couple other coins, and it came to me at the moment, and I've since done a short video on it, but it bears repeat here because it's exactly what XRP slave is talking about. The thing for me, okay, is this. It's real simple. The SEC is not trying to get rid of XRP. They're not trying to banish it from the face of the planet. They're trying to make a security out of it. And he said, well, yeah, I kind of understand that. I said, well, why do you think they want to make a security out of it? Because they're going to, what? Their buddies, SEC, stands for exchange, right? They want to exchange it. Their buddies in Wall Street want to sell it to Joe Public, which is you, because you, the guy I met in front of the elevator, don't have any XRP, and they want to control it so that they can make a commission off of it when they sell it to public. They're not trying to eliminate XRP. They're trying to make a way or an avenue illegally to profit from it. It's pretty obvious to me and most people who understand this, but that was a way that I'd never heard anybody explain it. And he looked at me and he goes, wow, you're right. I should probably buy it. Even if it loses this case, it's a security and they're going to sell it as a stock, right? The worst case situation, right? You're still going to want to own it. It's like, okay, well, Apple was before it was a stock. Would you want to own it? Yeah, you might want to own that thing. So looking at it in a financial sense, I explained that to him and he just looked at me. It's like, wow, I never had anybody put it like so simply before. So it's good that you own it either way. If the SEC was trying to say it's an illegal act and it should never be on the face of the American soil, that would be different, banning it or abolishing it in some way. That's not what they're trying to achieve here. Their best case, I'm beating a dead horse here, but their best case is it becomes a stock. That's their victory. After 2 years of tax-paying money, their victory, oh, we won. They made a stock out of it. That's if, we don't, obviously, they're going to appeal that over and over and over again because nobody wants it to be a stock. Everybody's tired of stocks. Nobody buys stocks anymore. If you're under the age of 30, you don't even want to hear about stock. So anyway.
Do I get to vote on it?
Right. Yeah. Well, yes, you do actually.
I mean, I own, you own stock. You get your little letter saying we're going to have a vote because of the meeting.
Don't even get me started about it wasn't an ICO and all the other logical reasons as to why it, it's anyway. Let's not go there. What else do you have for us?
I've got all kinds of stuff. So I wanted to, I guess the way my mind thinks, and like Alan says, we all sort of, we know all this stuff, right? But when I work with this lawyer, my friend Carolyn, my God, that girl is sharp. And she would read the discovery and the pleadings and look at the tapes over and over and over. And the government would tell us, oh, just read the summaries. Just read the summaries. She never did. And I learned a big lesson from her because when you go deeper, that's when you see the things that take you beyond what you're hearing, the buzz, the narrative that's being spewed by whatever side of the coin people are on. No lack of, sorry about the pun, but that's why the deeper dive I was thinking was important. And it's, even if we've gone there, you go again and you go again and you go again. It's like a movie that you watch. You've seen it once. Oh, I saw that movie already. But when you watch the movie again and you look at it from a different perspective, or maybe you're paying closer attention or whatever, you see and think about things differently. Go, I never realized that before in that movie. And that's how we were very successful. Not that I have any control over how this case goes down, but I thought it was cute that in Rule 56, it says in the commentary that summary judgment procedure is a, quote, method for promptly disposing of actions. That was cute. And so it's supposed to pierce the pleadings and to assess the proof in order to see whether there is a genuine need for trial. And then, so what I was thinking was, I think there's a genuine need for a trial because the expert witnesses, he says this, she says this, SEC expert says this, defense expert says that. Judge Torres, the court is saying, triable issue. I don't know. I'm not going to get rid of this expert. You don't like him, but I'm not going to get rid of him because he says black and you say white, that's a triable issue, material fact. We're going to trial.
That was a question somebody had in the chat earlier was, so Elizabeth, do you think it's going to trial or what do you think it's possible that it goes to trial? I guess is a better question. Yeah,
I think it's possible. And that's why I just didn't want to just give you one conclusion and then to say, yeah, I think it's going to trial. That's just my take after reading the order on the expert witnesses, and expert witnesses are the key to these trials. XRP's got, and the number of expert witnesses doesn't matter either. So,
no, they cannot. No, they cannot stop this train. You're
So-
absolutely correct.
I left off last week with the 5 SEC experts. What left us kind of like feeling like I was a buzzkill, right? So I wanted to move into some good stuff with the defense experts, because I thought there's some good stuff. And this is what backs up. Like I said, I have this opinion, but I wanted to show you where it's coming from. And if you guys are all interested, that's what I wanted to talk about. Alan can bring his 2 cents in on what's going on. I don't know how much of this how much you guys have already dove.
Have divin.
I'm studying
Somebody-
Spanish, so the conjugation is my brain is all messed up.
Yes, we'd love to hear some more of that. And yes,
Delve. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Delve
King
is the word.
food tuber. I love it. Delve.
Who knew? I would like to say that somebody's brought this up, and it's such a great point. Thank you to all the mothers out there. It is Mother's Day, and I appreciate you all. Mine has passed, but I think about her often, and she's an amazing woman. Was an incredible influence on my early life, and I clearly wouldn't be here and wouldn't be the man I am today without her wisdom and experience. And with that,
So I don't know how much you guys all know about the deep end of the pool on these experts, or whether it's interesting. I hope it is. It was interesting to me because it
Ditto.
was
yes,
I just found it more interesting. I like the dry deep end of the pool here. But if you know about, so the first expert and the judge, SEC made their pitch, just like the defense made their pitch about SEC, remember last week? And they ended up with all their experts with a couple of things thrown out. But they were able to maintain most of their expert witnesses. And it's this, like I said, this is what backs up my opinion, that gives me that instinct that this is going to trial. Dry. Yeah, we're going to just land in there. It's going to be so
Yeah.
smack. We're going to smack our head on the
bottom of the pool.
Sorry, guys, but we've got Alan here to juice things up, and I'll have some sarcasm here and there.
I have a little, if you can, I know it's kind of a long live stream, but if you can stick around to the end, I have some announcements that I want to make. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then if you guys,
it's gonna be fun.
if you guys need to take off.
Yeah. You
Take
can
off.
always watch this recording.
Exactly.
later.
And I was going to try and learn how to put little, as good as I learned how to do the Zoom thing, right? But this seems fine. I was going to put the little time things in so you guys could just jump to where you're interested. But let's start with defense expert number 1. Okay. So the SEC, and they're named, they're not redacted. The names are not redacted. Amazing. Alan Schwartz is a professor of law at Yale and a professor of management at Yale. So what he did was the defense brought him in to opine on 1,700 written contracts related to Ripple's XRP distribution. Okay. So I'm not going to, in discovery. So what are these? These are specific agreements by which Ripple transferred XRP to contractual counterparties in a variety of commercial transactions. And he organized the contracts into 4 primary categories. 1, and so this is really for you guys, you geeks that like all this stuff, that geek out on this stuff, is contracts by which Ripple transferred XRP directly to a counterparty, contracts by which Ripple's counterparties agreed to sell XRP on behalf of Ripple over trading platforms, contracts by which Ripple paid for various counterparty services in XRP provided by Ripple, and 4 miscellaneous contracts that do not fall into the first 3 categories. Okay. Lawyers love the catch-all.
Yeah.
So
that's a big description of everything.
Yeah. Schwartz compared the XRP contracts with the written contracts at issue in Howey. Okay. So that's why he comes on board. And then he opined that Ripple contracts, unlike the Howey contracts, do not contain provisions which commit Ripple to perform any post-sale actions, quote, that could affect the value of XRP or return profits to any person, end quote. So that's really important. You've heard all about that.
That's really important.
That stuff. So that's why they're bringing him in, going, we're going to defeat this because Schwartz says,
which is another really good reason. I know it's a time longer for us, but it's another good reason to put that in front of the jury, you know.
And like I said, I'm just, you know, these are the tea leaves. I'm not a tea leaf expert, but you guys are all, you know, 3 years into this, and we can all sort of, like I said, let's be like I was with my attorney Carolyn, and really just keep looking at this with fresh eyes again and again and again, so we can answer the questions ourselves. And you don't have to say, hey, Alan, give me the answer. You know, we can sort of say, I think the writing's on the wall in this way or that way. But I like these experts. They really help me to understand where the parties are at. And instead of the hype just saying, you know, oh, we're going to get a decision and we're going to win any day now. It's like, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But it seems like when I keep saying to you, tribal issue, fact, you'll see why I keep saying that. So the SEC does not want this expert. Okay. And this is typical lawyer stuff. The prosecutor says, I want this. And the defendant says, no, I don't. And they try and wipe out their whole case on some kind of motion. And then the other party tries to wipe out the other side's whole case.
We can see why they wouldn't want this guy's testimony.
But we do that all routinely. We would never just go, oh, okay, that sounds reasonable. No lawyer, no case. It doesn't matter. It's not the SEC being outrageous or anything. It's just, this is normal business practices. Civil cases, by the way, are way nastier anyway than criminal cases. So the SEC seeks to exclude this guy Schwartz's testimony on the grounds that his opinions are, quote, impermissible legal conclusions premised on, quote, an incorrect reading of Howey, and they are irrelevant. And I'm going to tell you what the court had to say about that. The court rejected the SEC's argument that Schwartz's opinions about Ripple's 1,700 XRP contracts are impermissible legal conclusions. She said that, quote, an expert witness may explain how a contract operates in the marketplace, and that the court said, this is the court, that he, Schwartz, provides a framework for categorizing the 1,700 contracts and understanding their commercial purposes in the industry, and that the court said his testimony is limited to describing the commercial purposes of certain contracts and specific. I never should have printed it this way. Sorry, I printed it all goofy. I don't know why I did that. There it is. Provisions common to those contracts. Schwartz does not opine on any ultimate issues of law that govern this case. So the experts are for facts, and the court is saying, when I say the word court, I mean Judge Torres, but it's more professional to say court. So the court, it seems sort of rude too, but anyway, the court agreed, however, that Schwartz's opinions about Howey are impermissible. So that, I read that weird with my tone. So agrees that Schwartz's opinions about Howey are impermissible. So she agreed with the SEC on that. How to interpret the Supreme Court's reasoning in Howey, listen, is the central issue in this case. And so that's, again, backing up my instinct that if it's the central issue in this case, and SEC has an expert saying the central issue, the facts supporting that central issue are this, and then the defense says the facts supporting the central issue at this, that's a trial issue. That's something for the jury to decide, not the court. The court decides law when facts are established. And SEC has their expert regarding this issue, and defense has their issue. That's why I say, I mean, gulp. It's sort of hard for me to say that in the face of all these experts coming on and saying that Judge Torres is going to bring an order deciding this case on a motion for summary judgment in favor of XRP. I hope you understand how hard it is for me to be like, I don't agree. I don't know. I mean, I'm shrinking, right? Like, I'm like, I think that how can you have a judgment as a matter of law when there's two experts saying different things? So I don't know.
Yeah, but experts are never going to agree. Isn't that what they always do, is oppose each other?
That's right. So how is there a tribal issue? Why isn't there a tribal issue of material fact? That's all I'm saying. So if you question whether I'm giving a prediction or opinion, just put a question mark on all of it. Okay. So YouTube, question mark on every one of my sentences. I just thought that was really powerful. Schwartz may testify about Ripple's XRP contracts and their differences from Howey contracts. What is that? That's not my language. Judge Torres, Schwartz may testify about Ripple's XRP contracts and their differences from Howey contracts. Okay. But then she said, but he may not opine on the legal reasoning in Howey. That's for the jury to decide. They're going to get an instruction. Sorry to block Alan's face. They're going to get an instruction saying Howey elements, boom, 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 boom.
No.
Take the facts, apply them to Howey jury and decide.
It's logical. Yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly what she should be doing. Oh, Landon, thanks. He's going to stick around. So you guys know,
you better.
Yeah, right. Northern Living and a few of the other people in there were in Vegas, and we became what I would consider friends of ours. And if you do get a chance to go to Vegas next year, I promise I will give you as much time you can pick my brain as possible. But I think it's so cool that we have this tight community, and we're so lucky to have all of you. But it is fun when I get to see you, not just you get to see me. So anyway, in the future, I'm even thinking how we could all meet somehow other than just that way. I've bounced around a couple of ideas, but one of the ideas was maybe to get all the XRP content providers all in one room and invite the public. I don't know. That was kind of an idea I had, but anyway. What are you reading there, Elizabeth?
Oh, I'm just looking at the comments. Okay. I guess we're going to try. Just remember, my instincts. I'm just reading from the tea leaves on it. And you know about psychics. If you've ever been to a psychic, sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it wrong, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to look at her language and say, well, if there's a tribal issue, then, and she's letting this expert say the light was red, and she's letting this expert say the light was green. She can't make that determination.
Yes, this is live.
I hope it's live. Is this supposed to might give us our 31-cent buying opportunity? Okay. Yeah.
If it goes to trial, I don't know. Let's hear what you guys think. What do you think that'd be a good or a bad thing? Probably a bad thing because, well, people who own XRP tokens or coins currently today are going to be, oh, what do you mean trial? It's going to be another 6 months or whatever. But as Elizabeth mentioned earlier in the video, they claim 2 weeks. Lawyers speak, that's at least a month. But
so yeah, I would say 2 weeks. We always say 2 weeks, and then you always come in every night. You're up till 5 o'clock in the morning typing some motion because you forgot about something and you want to challenge there's something or other. And
yeah. So if it went to trial, to a jury trial, okay, that's my question to you guys. Is that I know your heart's going to sink through the floor because you didn't win the decision. That's not the question. The question is, would the current price go up or down? Because coming to a settlement, Joe Public's going to see it almost every day, or it's going to be in the news almost every day. And people are going to go, well, wait a minute, what's this case about? So
I just wanted to clarify too. Yes, I had been
down, always down.
I was not sure about the jury trial issue. I wasn't sure about the jury trial because I I didn't know whether this kind of an action, if the parties had a right to ask for a jury trial. I just didn't know. I practice in California. And then the other question was, if that was the case, whether the parties elected jury trial versus a bench trial, because what I was confused about before I looked at the docket, the actual documents themselves and the case management order, was I kept hearing all these, we're going to have motion for summary judgment and then we're going straight to appeal. And that was confusing to me from the narratives in the community. So I just wanted to look that up myself and say, why are we going from motion for summary judgment directly to an appeal? And that's why I said in the beginning, you only get to appeal if you lose summary judgment. Like if XRP, if she grants summary judgment for SEC, then Ripple can appeal because they've wiped out Ripple. They've wiped out the whole case, or vice versa. SEC can appeal if she rules wholly in favor of Ripple and the other two defendants. So that's why I was saying that. I wanted to.
And I just got confirmation from Sage. She'll be there for sure. No question. She just texted me. She was somebody I met. She bought me a coffee at Starbucks at the show in Vegas. She's like, yes, let's do a content provider for XRP group. It might be better at the day after the court when we win the trial.
Yeah, and XRP bullish, yes. The judges, that's what the judge is doing, and that's, I'm going through her order, and she's not throwing out anybody's witnesses. She has ruled to parse out certain things they can and cannot say, but all witnesses are going except for one of Ripple's, which she deemed moot because of a prior ruling on a different expert, and that's the last expert, which I'll get to. So no, you can't. I would not email Judge Torres at all. It would be improper. If you want to communicate with the court, you have to ask for permission via the amicus curiae process. And that's why you have kind of these representatives like Mr. Deaton going in there on your behalf. So he's sort of already doing that for you.
He's representing the 75,000 of us in the US. That's not, I don't believe that number's global.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it is US.
So
either way, it's same, we're all on the same team. Doesn't matter where you live. We're all on this team. It's a global token, coin. I always keep calling it a token. It is a coin. And for those of you who don't know the difference, if something has its own blockchain, it's a coin. If it's running on somebody else's blockchain, in other words, if it's an ERC20, in other words, running off Ethereum, and it's built on their blockchain, it's a token of that blockchain. I know that's simple. Most of us already knew that, but gosh, for all of us that got started in this way back when, 2016 or 17, whatever it was, we got into it. Everybody called everything tokens back then. It took us a while to figure out what was what. But,
all right. I'll go back to this.
Yeah, Bruno is close by. We had a thumbnail that had the three of us in it that I'll put up afterwards. So everybody that sees this video after it's not live, they'll have that thumbnail on this video. Preloading a live thing has been difficult for us guys. We're still working all that out, but hopefully you guys are getting something from this. So there's a lot of you in here.
Yeah, so XRP cool. Bullish, not a verdict. So yes, verdicts are, they come down in civil cases if a jury is brought into the picture via the trial. So yes, it will end with a verdict if there's a jury trial. An order on a motion for summary judgment will either be to grant, deny, or some sort of partial grant or denial, which will be on factual issues. So that's
there's another point, since we're talking about verdicts and things. If this has a negative, this is a concept that I want you all to wrap your head around. I did a video about this almost a year ago now, but it bears repeat. If there is a negative ruling, okay, have some dry powder, because he's talking 31 cents. I think it could go down into the 20s or teens, okay? If it gets a negative ruling, it will the bottom will fall out of that for a period of time as a trader. Okay. Elizabeth and I were Forex traders. Okay. For a decade at least. What will happen with the bad news? Okay. Oh, SEC won the case. You know how it is. Media will spin it exactly like that. Won't be the case. We know there'll be appeals, but what will happen is that price will drop from whatever it is now, 40s. It'll drop down to 25 cents, maybe even lower. Okay. When that happens, have some dry powder on the side. Okay. And get your uphold account ready to go and nail that thing, because I promise you within 48 hours, it'll go right back virtually up to the price it's at now. I can't make that promise because but that's a trading strategy. Always play the bad news. Whenever there's bad news on something that you know is ultimately going to succeed in life, it's the best bet. And it's going to give you an opportunity. And then what'll happen is, oh, there's only $1 billion fine. And then maybe Brad will say, hey, you know what? No, we're not doing that. We're not paying the fine. We'll take you to court. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going with this thing. And everybody who panicked and sold, I know you guys have diamond hands, and that's not going to happen to this crowd. Okay. But there's going to be a lot of people who are daily traders who are going to see this chart on a technical analysis, say, oh my God, and it's going to level out at 20 cents, or making the number up. And that number will level out and everybody will buy the dip up. That's an opportunity for you guys. In particular, if you guys don't have a big bag and you're looking to create a larger bag for yourself, keep some dry powder for the day of the announcement if it were to be bad. If it's a good verdict or a good judgment by Ms. Torres, hang on to your hat because it could go to, it could really do well, guys. And for all crypto and all mankind, as far as I'm concerned, that would be a beautiful day. So what else did you have for us, Elizabeth?
Oh, I got all kinds of stuff, but we'll see. It's been going for an hour, so we'll see how far. I only got through one expert. Let me finish Mr. Schwartz, and then if you guys are wanting to go with one more, I can go with one more, but it's pretty deep stuff. I mean, she did a nice job on these witnesses, but we won some. You ever heard the expression, you win the battle and then lose the war type of thing? So there's always those things going on in the background, but
we like the other way around,
of course, but for the SEC. So the SEC also argued that Schwartz's opinions were impermissibly applied Howie again and are irrelevant. First, they argued that Howie does not require the existence of a contract and look beyond the four corners of written contracts in determining the existence of an investment contract, citing to one of the Daubert memos. Second, the SEC argued the contract provisions that Schwartz examines, like post-sale obligations. That's a pretty important concept that keeps coming up. Post-sale obligations are, quote, not necessary to satisfy Howie, and the court rejected the SEC's arguments because they do not speak to the relevance of Schwartz's opinions. And so her final ruling on Mr. Schwartz was that he is precluded from testifying about the Supreme Court's legal reasoning in Howie, but everything else is fair game. So that is one.
That was a victory. Overall,
yeah, because no expert is allowed. It's
Yeah.
kind of a no-brainer. No expert is allowed to testify about a case opinion anyway.
Legal advice, basically. The only one she threw out was his opinion of the legal view of things. Right? It's legality. Correct? That was
Right.
the
You
only
can't
one
come in and say, well, Howie means this and Howie means that. That's not what the
Right.
purpose of an expert is. So it's been an hour. Is anybody want to go to the next expert witness, Mr. Adriaens? He's a professor of engineering, finance, entrepreneurship at University of Michigan, and he has devoted his entire career to two fields: blockchain technology,
Chef crypto,
and entrepreneurship in digital industries. If you're interested, we can keep going. If not, we will bookmark it and resume maybe next week. Oh, next witness, please. Northern Living, your wishes.
Landon, you're a glutton.
Either this or vacuum.
Yeah. See
Run
that
my-
or clean the house.
Run
or,
my
you know, whatever.
vacuum, clean my chicken coops.
Right.
So I hope you guys are getting something out of it. Well, Northern Living is, and that's, God bless you for that, because I know you guys hear all about this on the channels, but I have been trying to catch up on the channels, and I'm like, well, the specifics aren't there, and that's just because my legal brain says I listen to the channels, and then I have all this stuff that I'm like, but you
Yeah.
guys are not giving me the information that I really want. You're just giving me conclusions.
And I'm going to drop another one for Northern Living. His daughter made a video on YouTube, and you guys can check it out. He can probably post it in there, or we could post it down below. It's a really cool little video about his little trip to Vegas, and his daughter is so talented and was amazing. And he sent me the video last night, and I checked it out. And I would like to work with her in the future to do maybe like a monthly thing with her, maybe, or something like that. I don't know how available she is, but Landon, please put that in the link below if you can. And that's a cool video. You guys should check it out. It's fun.
And if anybody has to go, like I said, I wanted to learn, or maybe I'd ask Christina, who helps me with my my parole stuff, whether she could put the little timestamps in it, and that way you could just jump to the timestamps, and that would give you another option, you know, rather than just sitting around on a Saturday, unless you're just play it like I do, audio, and just keep it going. So I found all these experts because, like I said, all these experts led me to believe that this case is not going to be decided on a motion for summary judgment. But God, you know, I'm, like I said, I shrink when I keep saying that. But Adriaens offers 2 reports on behalf of the defendants: his opening report and a rebuttal report, and a rebuttal report to expert number 4's first opinion that XRP Ledger is not decentralized and is centralized compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains. Remember why I said this morning, I introduced this with that preface again. I wanted to lead us back. I wanted to be my friend Carolyn. I want to go, okay, let me refresh your memory, right, on the stuff that's playing out. And isn't that interesting?
Really interesting.
So
I don't agree with the statement whatsoever, but
no, this is
yeah.
Well, this is the Ripple's expert. Okay.
Okay.
So this is what they're proffering to the court of with testimony through the deposition and the declarations and so on. So in his opening report, Adriaens offers 3 opinions that they presented to support their case. XRP and the XRP Ledger represent an important innovation in blockchain technology. 2, Ripple's iterative, you Brits over there can help me with the pronunciation, iterative development, I'm sorry, of its business model and products is consistent with startup practice in high technology industries. And 3, XRP and the XRP Ledger have, quote, commercial utility that, quote, demonstrates the decentralized nature of the XRP Ledger. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's it's technology.
I don't know why they're saying about the centralized thing. Oh, a rebuttal. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
It's the rebuttal to the mystery expert of SEC saying that it's not decentralized and is centralized compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Sorry, my brain just, it's so confusing when you can't have the names. Okay. Sorry about that. So he is coming in and saying,
if you've got to go, I understand.
SEC, you know, is full of it. Okay. See you, give me.
Yep. We'll see you next week. Or I got videos coming out this week.
Oh yeah. He's got all kinds of videos. Okay.
Can't stop this guy.
Adriaens argues that expert number 4's first opinion is unreliable and based on flawed technology. And the court is going to let us know what she thinks. and his opinions are irrelevant and inconsistent, and he's not qualified to offer his opinions, and opinions are not supported by reliable methodology. That's the SEC speaking. The SEC challenged Adriaens' drafting process for his opening report, arguing that he did not write large swaths of his report and failed to attribute parts of his report that he copied. So that was like a throwaway argument. I don't know why they bothered, but anyway, after reviewing Adriaens' deposition testimony, the court concludes that he was substantially involved in drafting his report through multiple iterations with counsel and with the assistance of one of his students. So I guess they kind of a Hail Mary on that one.
That's
and
just a statement of, I don't know.
They said he didn't write his report. The court also, and he just signed it, is what they were arguing. The court also rejects the SEC's argument, the fact that Adriaens copies text word for word. Again, she said that he just copied background information. Of course he did. I mean, what are you going to do? Just reinvent the wheel? She said the court agrees. The lack of citations, however, she's not throwing him out because he just cut and pasted his stuff. He said the lack of citation in Adriaens' report raises serious concerns about his credibility, but this is not a ground for excluding them. Okay, so
Right.
quite interesting. The alleged plagiarism may be germane to the issue, but again, it's a credibility call that a court does not make in a motion for summary judgment. If it needs a credibility call, that's for trial. That's for the lawyers to get up there and ask him questions, cross-examine, redirect, cross-examine, that's all for that. So
XRP bullish, you're absolutely correct. She could rule it a secondary. Now, I believe that's already happened. That's happened behind chambers, I believe. I believe they already talked about that. So she could rule on that, or among other things, and have the other things go to trial still.
Good one. Very good one. Yeah, that was, remember at the beginning, I said she could do these partial rulings on just the evidence and put some things to trial. If it's a partial ruling, however, no appeal until after, unless there's some extraordinary reason, blah, blah, blah. There's always ways and exceptions to all these little rules. But
Crypto Truth, we're going to miss you.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. So first and second opinion, for ruling prior to Q3. It's so interesting though, because now you have all these monkey wrenches coming in the mix. I'm talking to Mateo, and it was like, you've got Coinbase coming in with a sort of an inconsistent position, in my opinion. The Bittrex thing, the thing that I just read you from the whistleblower firm. So very interesting there. The first and second opinions. The SEC argued the court should exclude Adriaens' first two opinions because, quote, these opinions are factual narrative that merely aggregate record facts to tell Ripple's story. And the court agreed with that. So they were they did a little, I think they used them to maybe grease the wheels, poison the well, whatever the expression is, to the judge. And then she's like, yeah, this is not expert opinion. This is just opinion, like some narrative that he just raw XRP, not based in fact. Okay. So the excerpt, so Adriaens' first two opinions that the XRP ledger and its native currency XRP represented an important innovation in blockchain technology and Ripple's iterative development of its business model and products is consistent with startup practice in high technology industries. Adriaens' report, she put the site, sorry, are not expert opinions that would be helpful to the jury. So that's out as well by this judge. So they're not doing too great on this guy so far, but he's not completely out. There's still more.
So somebody just brought something up that's really important, and I think it's true. But they said that she won't rule. She doesn't rule on law. Where was that? Anyway, what was determined in the library case? Okay, was they did say the secondary market was like that. I believe the judge ruled on that. We need to look that up.
That was up here, right here.
Yeah.
XRP bullish. Judge Torres can rule that secondary sales are not securities.
Below that was somebody somebody said she's not ruling on law.
No, that's all she's ruled. That's all. As a matter of law, somebody will win if
There
the
are
facts.
no laws.
There are no laws for the judge. Oh, I see. I think he's being sort of, not facetious is not the right word. He's just saying what law. The Coinbase is going saying what law did we violate, and so yeah.
But he was the judge in the library case was asked point blank, are secondary transactions securities? And the judge said no. That was his word, and that was that case, and that's what we got from that. So,
but is that a trial court ruling or is that an appellate court ruling? And so that makes a big difference.
I don't even remember if that was on record. I don't know. I think it was.
So I'll have to.
We need to look into that.
I'll have to look that up, because only
somebody should know. I mean, I know that
the only things that are binding on this court is that could be persuasive authority, maybe, but the only thing that would be binding on this court would be appellate decisions in her district, and then that everything else is persuasive. But I have to,
it was a different judge.
Judges, trial court judges do not make law, only
that's good to know.
Precedential type of law. They can make rulings that are sort of, someone could look to going, oh, okay, you're finding that in your case, but the facts are different as the court, each party presents their stuff the way they want to present it. So I wanted to continue. The court said that Adriaens may properly opine about the commercial utility of XRP and the XRP ledger and Ripple's development of products. Okay, and so she said this, lots of things were kind of out on Adriaens, but this stuff is allowed. The jury, this is the court speaking, may properly make its own determinations about whether these uses and Ripple's developments are, quote, important, quote, innovative, or, quote, typical of high technology startups. And she quoted this case in Ray Libor, which was interesting.
And so she's implying that it will go to a jury trial. Is that what you got from that?
I'm inferring that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. She kept going.
Because she said that.
She keeps, and that's kind of the standard of review, though. So it may be just an expression that she has to use versus whatever.
Yes,
but she,
district, yeah.
I'll let you keep reading these. So then she said, as to the third opinion of Adriaens, the court rejects the SEC's arguments that Adriaens' third opinion about the, quote, commercial utility of XRP should be excluded because it is relevant and unsupported by any reliable methodology. And that the SEC argued that this opinion is irrelevant because, quote, that something has use does not preclude offers or sales of that instrument from meeting, quote, Howey's expectation of profits prong. But defendants do not argue that if, quote, XRP has use, that alone will preclude offers or sales of XRP from satisfying Howey's third prong. Rather, defendants merely contend the uses of XRP are relevant to that inquiry, and the court agrees. So
nice.
They got that one. They got that
bonus.
One.
We got a little bonus there.
The court also rejects the SEC's argument that Adriaens' methodology is flawed because he didn't determine whether or to what extent any of the businesses listed actually used XRP or the XRP ledger. And so that was it. Here's what I had a little note here. This was a note. This was my impression after I read this expert. Through this expert.
Yes, crypto nerd. Yes, you are right.
Expert number one may disagree and prefer to focus on the depth rather than breadth of use, but a difference in opinion between experts is not ground for exclusion. And a difference of opinion creates a triable issue of material fact. I'm not saying it the federal, I'm saying it the California way. You get what I'm saying on that.
I agree, Carrie. I don't think they do want it to go to a trial for those exact reasons you just brought up. because those Hinman emails will come out about basically what we're talking about, extortion.
Extortion.
He was,
That's what it is.
I mean, kind of.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's a lot of things. I don't know if extortion is the right word. Bribery, maybe is a better word.
And some of that going on too.
Yeah.
And then another reason that backs me up on is it going to trial? Is she going to rule for some motion for summary judgment? Is the rebuttal report. So remember, Adriaens has this rebuttal report to SEC's expert number 4. Sorry, it'd be better, so much better if we were able to know the names. Expert number 4. The court rejects SEC's arguments that Adriaens' rebuttal report should be excluded because he, quotes, offers conflicting opinions and not qualified to offer an opinion regarding the decentralization of the XRP ledger. Adriaens does not provide conflicting opinions about decentralization. Rather, he contends that decentralization has multiple meanings in different contexts. So, Adriaens opines that expert number 4's opinion is unreliable because there's no accepted definition of decentralization. At trial, here we go again, okay? At trial, the SEC may question Adriaens, meaning via cross-examination, about his lack of computer science credentials to cast doubt on his testimony compared to that of expert number 4, but the court shall not arrogate. I don't know what that means. Somebody chime in there. The jury's role in evaluating the evidence and the credibility of expert witnesses by simply maybe make it more than it is. I don't know, of expert witnesses by simply choosing sides in the battle of experts. And so a court is not here to determine a battle of experts. The jury is. The ruling, accordingly, the SEC's motion to preclude Adriaens from testifying about his first 2 opinions is granted. We heard that. And the SEC's motion to preclude Adriaens from testifying as to his 3rd opinion and the rebuttal opinion, challenging expert number 4's garbage, right, is denied.
Nice.
And so that, again, all of this is shown to you because you always ask, who's going to win? They're going to win. They're going to lose. We're going to hear on summary judgment. I'm like, I don't know. It sounds, the flavor to me of the day is trial. Now, this expert guy coming up, Bradley Borden, is a...
Hoover, I think you're referring to the Supreme Court. They've lost 5 of 6. I thought it was 5. Yeah, 5 of 6 cases. Yeah. They don't want to go to the Supreme Court. I'm sure of that.
Except the 5 of 6 cases were decided when I tried to find those cases, and I couldn't find any cases within the last 10 years. But Pacer is very hard to search, and I used LexisNexis too. I couldn't find the cases that I think Deaton was referring to. I was trying to look those up, so we'd have, again, like lots of people. They
apples to apples.
They just say these 5 or 6 cases. And I'm like, my brain is like, I want to look at them. I want to look at them because the facts are always different.
You are absolutely correct. The system does not understand cryptocurrencies. I was speaking with a guy at the show, and he went to numerous, different Washington, D.C. meetings, meeting with senators and politicians, and people, they look at you with a blank stare. Well, like when you're at work and you start explaining what, the difference between what a Ripple and an XRP is, and they just look at you with that stare. He said that's what people who are in Congress, or the people who listen to me, in other words, there are people that work for them to present it to the congressmen, their aides or assistants. They don't even understand what I'm saying. Like, they don't understand the concept of blockchain. And it's very, very frustrating that we have people older than my old tired self ruling on such things. These people are dinosaurs, and they will be overrun eventually. I mean, I don't know how long, obviously. Anybody that's seen my show, seen me babble on about that. One of my favorite subjects is old people and how they will be overtaken by the youth, because The youth clearly has technology on their side, and they're, let's just say, a little sharper than some of the people in government. A lot more sharper.
I wanted to go, this next expert is kind of short, and I know there's still, I'm 3 of 10
Supreme
at that point.
Court will win there for sure if we get that far. If any of us can live that long.
That's his opinion. I just want to make sure that
that's a long time from now, guys. How long is that?
In case the state bar is watching, I'm not making any opinions about anything.
How long is that to go all the way through Supreme Court?
Oh, a long time.
Years.
Yeah, several
plural.
years. More years, because whether they decide to take it up and blah blah blah. But I like this next expert. I thought was very interesting, and of course the SEC challenged this expert. But this guy and all the court, I didn't get to.
Thanks, Gary.
This is kind of where I left off. So maybe I'll just leave it off because this one's going to be kind of jumbled for me because I was trying to study this and set up the Zoom, and I didn't get this one fully. I didn't get, my notes are not great on it. But Bradley Borden is a tax practitioner and tax law professor at Brooklyn Law School. Okay. His opinions for the defendant, they want to introduce him, or they have introduced him in support of their motion for summary judgment, is the IRS guidance treats virtual currency such as XRP as property that is not a security. 2, no legal taxation authority has classified XRP as a security for federal income tax purposes. And 3, a reasonable buyer or seller of XRP would not expect it to be classified as a security for federal income tax purposes. So what does the SEC say about that? They said his testimony is irrelevant. And I thought, I didn't even get to the judge's opinion. I'm like, if I was a jury, I would find that very relevant.
I would.
Because the question of whether XRP is a security under federal income tax law has nothing to do with whether it is a security under Howey and federal securities law. This is Judge Torres. The court disagrees. So
perfect.
That's not me.
If you were expected to pay capital gains on these things, isn't that amazing that we have to pay capital gains on these things, but they can't even find a ruling as to what they are or how they are? Or is it a commodity? Is it a security? Is it a crypto? But yet we have to pay tax on it. I mean, it's really, they have dropped the ball in my opinion, of representing the 76,000 people that own XRP. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir, and none of you are shocked by any of those statements, but it is sad. It's a sad state of our bureaucracy. Let's just go with that term.
Now, this thing that I'm going to cite to you is the court's, how she's perceiving the defendant's theory. Okay. So under defendant's theory of the case, how XRP is classified under other legal and industry regimes, I love that word, is relevant to the question of whether XRP would, quote, ordinarily and commonly be considered as security in the commercial world. So she's understanding that, right? And whereas, and this is the court again, her words, or her legal staff drafts all these things. Whereas here, quote, the legal or factual sustainability of a party's theory has not yet been decided. That defendant's theory of the case may be legally or factually deficient is not justification for concluding that in the context of their theory, the expert testimony is unreliable or unhelpful. And she's citing to a case, Olin Corp, whatever it is, and says, because Borden's testimony may help the fact finder, quote, understand the evidence or determine a fact and issue, quoting Daubert, the court finds that defendants have satisfied the low bar of showing the relevance of this testimony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second,
what do you, okay, let me ask you that real quick. What do you determine the low bar?
XRP or oranges? Yeah, Hoover. I was really thinking about that, really trying to think about in terms of Howie, because people were being given shares in the oranges and the orange grove and all that. I was really thinking that too, trying to
Yeah.
analogize that myself. I was going to go there next. I wanted to do a deep dive in Howie. I just thought it would be really dense reading.
Becky is in the house. I saw you scroll by, girl.
Yeah, Becky, we're going to do a tag, some times tags. Maybe ask Christina to do it for us
Yeah.
on Monday.
Not only that, Becky was so gracious and put my name forward for in a live stream. I believe it's yesterday or the day before. I don't know. I watched part of it, and it was with Lulu, Lewis Jackson. And
I think that's really cute, Kung Fu Tuber. I think we should like try and create a little logo XRP.
For any of you that know Lewis, it was just a misunderstanding between his email came to me. And to be honest, I was such a fan of his show. I said to myself, well, that's probably just some scammer pretending to be Lewis. And I was like, oh, but wait a minute. Like, what if it is? So I emailed him right back, and it didn't bounce back at me. So I assumed that he got it or it went to him. And that was about 3 months ago. And I was like, wow, that'd be really cool to be on a show or do something with him. So those of you who have a contact with him or have any way of getting a hold of him, I would love to be on a show. Something that Dave and I talked about, maybe doing something in the future. So I did meet a lot of people in Vegas. I didn't get to meet Lewis. Lewis, I don't know how you guys feel about Lewis, but in my opinion, he has brought more information that clicks with me. Not everybody's information clicks with me. I don't like hype. I don't like news. I don't like sensationalism. I like, just give me the statement and let me sort it out in my own head. That's what I love about what he does. His show, he and I think a lot alike in a lot of ways, which is awesome, but also different in so many ways. And if we don't think differently, you can't learn anything if you all think the same way, if it's an echo chamber, right? So he said something, I don't know when I heard it, in a show about 6 months ago, I want to say. He said, I was a terrible student in school. I didn't like school because what they were teaching limited where I was. I believe it was him. And they only wanted to talk about what was. They had no ability to look forward and to look into the future or teach me what could be about where we're going, about where mankind's headed. And that's where my mind and my fascination is with crypto. Mine being, I was telling the story about him, telling the story, but it was, that clicked with me. And I'm pretty sure it was Lewis that said that. And it was brilliant. I resonated with it because I was a terrible student in school. I can barely spell my own name, but my vocabulary is terrible, as you guys probably already figured out. But I love to tell a story, and I love to tell my experience and wisdom that I've learned about markets and banking and numbers and economies. And I honestly, if I say this all the time, and I don't say this to be pompous or anything else, I've forgotten more about economics and crypto than almost everybody in the field. I've studied this stuff. You can ask my wife. I study day and night crypto, and I have since early 2017. But there's no way to keep up with it all. Absolutely no way, guys. And you need variety. And I think his show is brilliant. I think there's so many shows out there that are so great. A bunch of them come to mind. If you're looking for news, I really kind of like Zach's. He kind of keeps me up to date with people. But I love the interviews that Lewis has done lately. I haven't caught up with them all. I see them scroll through, and I'm like, wow, I gotta watch that one. I did listen to the one with Molly. Brilliant. Well, it was so good with Molly. Elizabeth got to meet Molly, and the three of us had a pretty good conversation at the show. But Molly's interview with Lewis, now I'm going on about other people's shows, but Molly's interview with Lewis, I was sitting there going, stop. No. Like they both had this opinion of what they thought would happen and occur to the US dollar and the economy and the way they saw it going, which was two completely different views of where they think the future of money is headed, which was really interesting. But I had this third one that was completely off the rails of where they were at and where I believe it's going. So I hope he and I can catch up with that idea for a show. But I'm willing to talk to him or any of those people. Oh, we love Molly. I'm telling you, she is sharp. She's just as sharp in person. I'm going to tell you this. I've met a couple of content creators, okay, who they're not in person, who they are on video. And I will tell you that I'm going to be as kind as possible. They were just jerks, just flat out pricks. I was just like, what's your deal, man? Like, who are you? You're not even like the person I thought you were. And, you know, they're faking it or something. I have no idea, but like I was blown away by a few. I'm not going to mention any names, but you know, they're people that are pretty popular shows. In fact, one of the most popular shows in crypto. But now I'm just babbling on about other people, and they're free to be whoever they want to be. But I did the show. I started my show because I wanted to be with you guys. I wanted to be with somebody who's genuine. I wanted to create a group of people who know where they're going, know where the technology's headed, and understand why we own what we own, and let the rest of the world come to us. Because you know what? I don't even guess anymore as to whether or not this thing's going to be successful. It's not a guess, guys. This is technology. They can't stop it. You know, I was telling Elizabeth the other day, you know, when you look at this country, supposedly the land of opportunity and the land of freedom, right? And prosperity, and bring your new ideas. We're the new world, and you can, you know, like bring your concepts and your technology, and you can grow them in our system, in our society, because we promote that. Except for this technology, they're doing the exact opposite. They are not promoting. They're not doing what created a great America. They are not supporting brilliant technology that will change the way of money and will change the way people spend their money to transfer money. And that's economically so sound for people that, like, how can they not be behind this in a free country? That's like impossible, right? But yet here they are, and they're competing with us in the tokens, coins in which we own. And it's very frustrating to me. And I know you guys are all in the same boat on all that, but it's frustrating to me. And I know I feel your frustration in all your comments too. So yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I'm gonna kind of close this up here, guys. Elizabeth's out chasing dogs.
No, it was PG&E.
Yeah.
And I was trying to see if they would hang the line, but
yeah.
It was the wrong PG&E.
So
This is my buddy.
You're done?
I was going to go to another. No, I'm done. I just too many experts.
It's been an hour and a half. Yeah. This is okay. I'm going.
Where's your buddy?
There's Bruno. For those of you who are wondering where the dog is,
he's right here.
He's a good boy. Okay, I said I was going to say something at the end of the video for everybody who would stick around. I have yet another guest. My guest will be on live tomorrow, and I want to give you guys just a little bit background as to who my guest is. He's my son. Many of you guys know from the older videos Brent, and his soul and his spirit is so amazing, and it's he and I's relationship are best friends. Okay, and we have a kindred spirits. Okay, and we are going to do a live stream like Elizabeth and I are at least once a week, possibly more, because what Brent does for me is Brent knows my life, and Brent knows how to get those stories out of me. like there's thousands of stories that I haven't even talked to you guys about meeting different bankers and financial situations and stuff. And I'm so worried about where the puck's going and where we're going with cryptocurrencies that I don't talk about where I've been and the way I've done it and how I came up with these strategies and this logic in which I apply my thinking to this system. Well, Brent brings that out of me, and he's so good at what he does, and he's got this giant heart. And between he and I, we're going to try and pull off a live stream tomorrow, which should be fun. And like I was saying before, I'm planning on being interviewed and doing more interviews in the future. Some of the people that I met up with at Vegas, they are going to be, there's 2 or 3 of them, you guys know who they all are, who said, hey, we got to work together and let's do some stuff. So that's coming up in the future as well. But I'm really excited about tomorrow, because tomorrow Brent and I are just going to sit down and just shoot the breeze. Okay. And hopefully I'm going to be able to read some of your questions, because you guys can ask me. It's going to be an AMA, but it's going to be Brent asking a lot of these questions. Okay. So come up with some questions, think about them overnight. I've done, I don't know, 150 shows or more. So you got to have a question or two. So come into the live chat tomorrow. Let me know what you want to talk about, and see if you like the way it goes. And if it goes, this one's kind of dry, but it's legal stuff, and we're all really into it because it's our future. But the one with Brent tomorrow will be more of a dad-son chat, shoot the breeze, AMA with you guys. Okay, so with that, how are we looking?
We're looking good. We got
We've lost everybody.
no, some people are geeked out on it, which is good. Like
Geeked out on the legal.
So 7 more witnesses, expert witnesses to go. And I just think it's very, very interesting, the details. If you all are, 100 of you were, which was fun. We'll do it again next week. And I think maybe you'll come to the same conclusions as I do about motion for summary judgment. May not be there. But what I'd like to do is, after the experts are done, I'd like to circle back and do a Carolyn, be like Carolyn, go back, pull out the motions for summary judgment and start to dissect those. And it's like, read the tea leaves. All we can do is read the tea leaves, because we go and we watch these shows and they seem to be, they have their own slant. And I'm trying not to be so slanted about it and figure out. And then if, the tea leaves are read a certain way, like, oh, I see you, like a psychic. I see you're going to be marrying a woman
Yeah.
in 5 years and you're going to have twins. It's like, okay.
Somebody just said, hit the like button. What was amazing? We only got it. Well, I appreciate every one of 140. And there's 111 likes.
Thanks, you guys.
That's just
thanks
awesome
for liking
numbers.
without us.
Look at the ratio.
We're always forgetting to
So
say
good.
like, but
I always
we
forget.
got to get off on the likes. But
Yeah.
no, it's fun. Thank you guys for coming in all of this. So if you like the deep dive, that's all I'm doing. It may be a rehash, but like I said, sometimes seeing it again from a different person's perspective, more of that, I don't know.
She's the real deal, guys.
Dry.
She really is.
Sorry, it's just a lot dry, but
she'll overturn.
This is
every
what
stone
the judge is seeing. So why don't we just look right from the horse's mouth, or the horse's mouths, rather than somebody's narrative? We used to call it, when we did criminal trials, it's like the prosecutor's narrative. What they used to do is they used to give these summaries. Literally, they would give us these summaries of tapes and tapes and tapes and tapes. And they go, just read the summaries. And so I would read the summaries, and Carolyn would go, I'm not reading the summaries. She would listen to those tapes from the witnesses, from the, they bring witnesses in.
She was an investigator.
Oh my God. And she would listen to the tape and listen to it again and again and have it transcribed and listen to it again. And then she'd call me and we'd talk about these facts over and over and over and over. And she was the one who uncovered the prosecutor was coaching witnesses to lie, and we caught him and we went to court, and it was because of Carolyn. This all happened, and our client got 6 years instead of a life sentence because of Carolyn. Now, I can't save XRP, but you guys always have questions, and I'd rather just give you a factually based, educated guess.
Yeah.
Basically, is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks, guys, for all the appreciation. I see
Yeah.
you guys all. Yeah, you guys are amazing as well. Thank you. And we are happy to bring this to you. This is who we are. This is what
Rancho
we do.
Cucamonga. Nice.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it.
All
Loving all you guys. Thanks a lot. Kung Fu. He's my linguist.
Kung Fu. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. With a name like Kung Fu, of course.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that.
good stuff.
Okay.
Ventura. Nice. I'm amazed how many Cali people I have.
Yeah, I am too.
Actually.
You guys haven't fled
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah, you're sticking around. Hey, look, the way I see it is, if you're not going to change California, how are you going to change the world?
Yeah.
Might as well change where it's bad first, right? That's kind of the way I look at it.
V6 sounds Spanish.
It does. Or V6, no, it's Greek. No?
Anybody want to be my Spanish coach? Let me know.
Anyway, let's get out of here
Okay.
with that. And
all right, you guys.
Thank you so much for your appreciation of our channel. And thanks for hitting
Nice.
Thanks for hitting the likes and the subscribes. And in the future, we will do more of this. We will see you probably next Saturday, right,
Yeah.
Elizabeth?
Next Saturday or
Okay.
Friday nights.
Yeah.
But it depends. We
Yeah.
have to host a game night thing, so sometimes it doesn't work out.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys.
We're out.
Okay. Bye-bye.
An hour and a half. Holy moly's.
I don't